Dear students, in my previous presentation, I have discussed about introduction to crystallography. In that presentation, we came to know that crystallography is a branch of physics in which we are going to discuss about the structure of crystals by using either X-rays, electron beam or neutron beam. And in that last presentation, we also discussed about different types of crystals like atomic crystals, ionic crystals, molecular crystals and metallic crystals. Now in this presentation, we are going to concentrate on X-ray crystallography, in which we are going to use X-rays in order to find out crystal structure. X-ray crystallography is nothing but a technique in which crystal structures are analyzed using X-ray diffraction method. Now this method was given by Max van Laue. He is the one who invented this method. That is, he invented that X-rays can be used in order to find out the structure of the crystal. But this method was extensively and successively used by W.H. Bragg and W.L. Bragg, father and son. And in 1913, W.L. Bragg, he condensed all his measurements and calculation into a very simple formula, which is given by 2d sin theta is equal to n lambda. Now with the help of this simple equation, we can easily able to find the crystal structure by using X-ray crystallography technique. And this equation is a very famous equation in science, and it is known as Bragg's law. Now this Bragg's law or Bragg's equation is very important equation in X-ray crystallography. By using this simple equation, it is very easy to determine the structure of the crystal. These are the three scientists. Max van Laue, he showed that X-rays are diffracted by crystals, and W.H. Bragg and W.L. Bragg were the two scientists who contributed by giving Bragg's equation 2d sin theta is equal to n lambda to the crystallography field. Therefore, in order to commemorate the importance of the discovery of crystallography after 100 years, that is the year 2014, we have celebrated this year as International Year of Crystallography. Now what is crystal structure? Crystal structure refers to the size, shape and arrangement of the constituents inside the crystal. Now if you are able to find out size, shape and arrangement of the constituents of the crystal, then that is nothing but the crystal structure. Now how to find out the crystal structure? By using X-ray crystallography. Now crystal structure can be determined with the help of two steps. One is, in the first step, now what we are going to obtain, we are going to get the geometrical information, and in the second step, we are going to obtain chemical information. When these two informations are added, we are going to get the crystal structure. Now, in order to get the geometrical information, now we are going to collect initial data from X-ray diffraction technique. And in order to find out the chemical information, we are going to collect intensity data from X-ray diffraction technique. Now what is the meaning of geometrical information? Now geometrical information will give the information about the position of the constituents of a crystal, whereas the chemical information will give information about what are the constituents which are present in the crystals, which are the elements or which are the molecules, how those elements are oriented. Now all these informations we are going to obtain from chemical information. When these two informations are collected, then these two are put together and finally we will obtain crystal structure. Now in order to describe the geometrical information, now we are going to use a new concept which is called as space lattice. And to describe the chemical informations, we are going to use a concept of basis. Space lattice and basis. When these two are combined together, we are going to get the crystal structure. Now let us see what is the meaning of space lattice and then basis. Space lattice is nothing but an imaginary physical concept. It is just an imaginary physical concept and it will give the information about the location of the constituents inside the crystals. Let us see how the space lattice is defined. Space lattice is defined as an infinite array of lattice points arranged in a regular periodic fashion in three-dimensional space such that each point in the lattice has exactly identical surroundings. Now this is the definition of space lattice. Space lattice in short is also called as just lattice. Okay. Now let us try to understand what is the definition of space lattice. It is nothing but the arrangement of lattice points. And these lattice points are arranged in a particular order, in a particular periodic manner. And this arrangement is extended up to infinity in all the directions in three-dimensional space. Provided, now this arrangement is called as a space lattice only when it satisfies the condition which is stated in the last line, third line, like such that each point, that means each lattice point in the lattice should has the identical surrounding. Now you will understand this with the help of a figure. Consider a space lattice. Now this is a space lattice and here you have to imagine that this is a three-dimensional arrangement. That means you have to imagine the similar type of arrangement of layer of points above and below the screen, and this arrangement of lattice point is not limited to only few points. Now this will extend up to infinite distance. I have taken a portion of the space lattice and you have to imagine that this is a three-dimensional one. That means you are having similar type of layers of points above the screen and below the screen, and this arrangement will extend up to infinity. Now if you look at the points, if you stand at any one point and if you look at the surroundings, you will able to see the other lattice points which are situated in certain distance. And if you change your position from one lattice point to another lattice point, and if you look at the surroundings in the new lattice point, you have to feel the same surrounding. Then only such an arrangement of lattice points is called as a space lattice. Now we can write the space lattice in different manner. Now here there is one more example. In the second figure, now it will also satisfy the condition of the definition what we have explained in the definition, and therefore this particular arrangement of the points is also called as a space lattice. And if you stand at any point in this second figure, and if you look at the surrounding, you are going to feel the same surroundings, identical surrounding. Therefore the second type of arrangement of lattice points is also a space lattice. Now if you try to write different types of the space lattice, you are going to end up with only few number of space lattices which will satisfy the required condition. And in space lattice, we are also use certain other terms like lattice point, lattice plane and lattice line. Now lattice point is nothing but each point in the space lattice is called as lattice point. What is this lattice point? It is an imaginary and an infinitesimal small spot which is used to locate the constituents of the crystal. Now each point in the space lattice is called as a lattice point. What this lattice point represent? It represent the position or location of the constituents of a crystal. Now if you consider the lattice points in only one direction, we call it as a lattice line or lattice direction. Or if you consider the arrangement of lattice points in the two directions, then we will end up with a plane, and that plane is called as lattice plane. And if this is repeated in three different directions, you are going to get a space lattice. Okay. Now in order to describe a space lattice, you have to locate the position of the lattice points in the space lattice. Now how to locate the position of a lattice point in a space lattice? Now this can be done with the help of the fundamental translational vectors. Now what are these fundamental translational vectors? Let us look at this. In order to locate any lattice point, first we have to fix the coordinate axis. We have to fix a coordinate axis with any one lattice point as an origin. The position vector of any lattice point P in a space lattice is given by, now look at the diagram. Here we are having a space lattice and we have to locate the position of a space lattice or a lattice point which is located at point P. Now how to locate this point P? With the help of a coordinate axis, and we have to fix the coordinate axis at any particular lattice point. Here we have fixed the coordinate axis at some other lattice point, and let at one particular direction it is called as x-axis and another direction is called as y-axis, and here I have taken a lattice plane. Therefore two axes are sufficient. Now if it is a space lattice, we have to define one more axis. Now that axis is called as z-axis, and these three axes x, y, z are called as crystallographic axis. The distance between two lattice points along x direction is denoted as a. The distance between two lattice points along y directions is denoted as b, and the distance between two lattice points in the third direction, that is along z direction, is denoted by c. Now after defining these things, now it is very easy to write the position vector of the lattice point which is at point P, and the position vector is given by, let R is the position vector of lattice point P from the origin, and this is equal to n1 vector A plus n2 vector B plus n3 vector C, where A, B, C are called as fundamental translational vectors. There are other names for these vectors. They are also called as primitive vectors of the lattice, and in some cases they are also called as basis vectors. Now with the help of A, B, C and with the help of n1, n2, n3, n1, n2, n3 are nothing but the integers. There are some integers along x, y and z directions. With the help of these 6, you can able to locate the lattice point. And here vector A, vector B, vector C are called as fundamental translational vectors. Now n1, n2, n3 are nothing but some integers. Now in this example, we have taken a plane lattice. Therefore, you cannot able to write n3, but you can able to identify what are the values of n1 and n2. Look at the figure. Now in order to move from origin to the point P along x direction, you have to move through a distance which is equal to 5 times a. 5 times a. Therefore, n1 is 5. And along y direction, you have to move 3 times b. 3 times b. Therefore, for this example, n2 is 3. Similarly, in a 3-dimensional space lattice, you will also able to write the value of n3. Therefore, with the help of fundamental translational vectors a, b, c, you can easily able to describe the position of a lattice point in a particular space lattice. For this, first you have to fix the coordinate axis at some lattice point. With the help of that, we can able to write the position vector of a lattice point. The scientist Bravis in 1848, he showed that there are only 14 different space lattices are possible. Space lattices are nothing but the arrangement of lattice points in a regular periodic manner such that each lattice point should have an identical surrounding. Now, if you write the space lattice, different types of space lattice which satisfy the required condition, you can write only 14 different types of space lattices. Now that was shown by Bravis, and these 14 space lattices are called as Bravis space lattice. Okay. Now this is about the certain information regarding the space lattice. The space lattice is an imaginary concept. It will give the geometrical, that is, or the physical information of the crystal. Now in order to know the chemical information, now that we can able to understand with the help of the concept of basis. Let us see what is a basis. Now crystal structure is constructed by fixing every lattice point with a unit assembly of atoms or molecules which are identical in composition. Now this unit assembly is known as basis. Now space lattice will give the location of the constituents, and at these locations, now what we are supposed to do? You have to fill it with the constituents. Constituents will nothing but they are the unit assembly of atoms or the molecules which are having an identical composition. For example, if you consider ice, ice, then at each lattice point you are going to find a water molecule. Therefore, the unit assembly is nothing but 2 hydrogen atom and 1 oxygen atom. Now this unit assembly is called as basis. Now depending upon the type of the crystal, now the basis will changes. The basis will give the real information about the crystal. It gives the chemical information about the crystal. The number of atoms in the basis may be as low as 1. The number of atoms in the basis will be 1 in case of atomic crystals, monoatomic crystals. In monoatomic crystals, you will have only one type of atom which is present in the lattice points. And there exist certain crystals in which basis contains more than 1000 atoms. For example, in protein crystals, the basis will have more number of elements. Okay. Therefore, this basis is nothing but the real one. it gives the chemical information about the crystal. Now after knowing space lattice and basis, you have to combine these two, then we will able to obtain the crystal structure. So space lattice plus basis is equal to crystal structure. Now you can understand this better with the help of the figure. Look at the figure. Now this is a space lattice and these points will give these are the imaginary points, and these points will give the position of the constituents, and basis will give what is the constituents which is present in the crystal. Now you have to put the basis into these locations, and finally what you are going to get? You are going to get a crystal structure. Okay, look at the another example. This is the space lattice, and if this is the basis of that particular crystal, you have to put the basis at each lattice point, then you will get the crystal structure. In the first example, you are having the basis is having 2 atoms, whereas in the second structure the basis is having 4 different atoms. Now this is how we are going to determine the structure. The structure can be determined with the help of 2 concepts. One is space lattice and another one is basis. Okay. Now here we have some more examples. Space lattice or Bravais lattice plus basis. In the above example, it is basis is having only 1 atom. Okay. In the second example, the basis is having 2 atoms. This is another example. Now this is how we are going to find out the crystal structure. Now let us discuss more about the space lattice. Now geometrical information. In order to get the geometrical information, now we are not supposed to study the entire space lattice. If a part of space lattice is analyzed, you will able to get the complete information about the space lattice. Now this is because if you look at the space lattice, now as shown in the figure, you imagine that each lattice points are joined with the help of the lines. Then you are realize that the space lattice is just a repetition of the smallest portion. It's the smallest portion. Now that smallest portion of a space lattice is called as unit cell. Now if you are able to determine the information about the unit cell, now that is sufficient in order to understand the entire space lattice. Okay. Now this unit cell concept is very, very important. What is this unit cell? The smallest portion of the space lattice which can generate the complete crystal by repeating its own dimensions in different directions is known as unit cell. Therefore, there is no need of studying the entire space lattice. It is sufficient that if you are know about the unit cell, with the help of its smallest portion, you can able to obtain the complete information. That smallest portion of a space lattice is called as unit cell. Now in the figure, the colored portion of the space lattice is called as the unit cell. Now this unit cell is called as the basic structural unit of the crystal structure, or it is also called as a building block, or we can also say that the unit cell is the fundamental part of a crystal. Okay. Now let us know more about this unit cell. If you look at the unit cell shape, it looks as a parallelepiped. Okay, it looks as a parallelepiped. Now this is a general way of writing a unit cell. Now the unit cell is characterized by certain parameters, and you can see in the figure you have to fix the origin to one lattice point. Here, where are the lattice points? The corners of the unit cell are nothing but the lattice points. Now along one direction, the distance between two lattice points is denoted as A. Now that direction is called as crystallographic x direction. In another direction, the distance between the two corners, that is the distance between two lattice points, is denoted by B, and that direction is nothing but crystallographic y direction. And the distance between two lattice points where it is denoted as C, now that direction is called as crystallographic z direction. And this is a parallelepiped. Unit cell of any space lattice in general is a parallelepiped, and the edges of the parallelepiped are called as lattice constants. They are denoted by A, B and C. These lattice constants are also called as primitives. And again, the unit cell is also characterized by three angles. The angle between the two faces which come in contact along the edges. The three angles are called as interfacial angles: alpha, beta and gamma. Now, alpha is an angle between B and C, B edge and C edge. Beta is an angle between A and C edges, and gamma is the angle which is used to represent an angle between A and B. Or you can also understand like this: alpha is an angle opposite to A edge, beta is an angle opposite to B edge, and gamma is an angle opposite to C edge. Now with the help of these 6 parameters, you can able to sketch an unit cell. You can able to describe an unit cell. If once you are able to know about the unit cell, you can build the entire space lattice. And therefore, now these 6 parameters together are called as lattice parameters of the unit cell, or geometrical constants of the unit cell. Now which are the lattice parameters of the unit cell? They are nothing but 3 edges A, B, C and 3 angles alpha, beta and gamma. With the help of these 6 parameters, we can able to describe the unit cell. Classification of unit cells. Broadly, unit cells are classified into 2 types. One is primitive unit cell and another one is non-primitive unit cells. Now what are primitive and non-primitive unit cells? Primitive unit cells are the one which are having only one atom per unit cell. Non-primitive unit cell are the one which are having more than 1 atoms per unit cell. And this, if you broadly classify the unit cells, the non-primitive unit cells are further divided into 3 different types. Therefore, if you look at the broad classification of unit cells, there are 4 different types of unit cells. One is primitive unit cell, and the non-primitive unit cells are of 3 types, 3 different groups. One is body-centered unit cell, face-centered unit cell, and end-face-centered or base-centered unit cell. The primitive unit cell is also called a simple unit cell, and this unit cell is denoted by the letter capital P. Body-centered unit cell is represented with the help of the letter I. Face-centered unit cells are represented with the letter F, whereas in case of end-face-centered unit cells, again we are having 3 different types, and they are represented by the letters A, B and C. Let us see how these unit cells are different from one another. Primitive unit cell. A unit cell with a lattice point at each corner and nowhere else is called as primitive unit cell. And in an unit cell, if the lattice points are located only at the corners of the unit cells, then such an unit cell is called as a primitive unit cell. Body centered unit cell. In this unit cell, we are going to find out the lattice points not only at the corners, we will find out one more lattice point exactly at the center of the unit cell, inside the unit cell. And therefore, this unit cell is called as body centered unit cell. Face centered unit cell. In case of face centered unit cell, you are going to find out the unit cells at lattice points at the corners, and you are going to find out lattice points at the center of each faces of the unit cell. The unit cell is having 6 faces, and at the center of each 6 faces you are going to find out a lattice point. If that is the case, if the unit cell is like that, then that particular unit cell is called as a face centered unit cell. End face or base centered unit cell. Now in this type, unit cell with 8 lattice points at the corners and a pair of lattice points at the centers of one of the opposite faces of the unit cell, then it is called as end face centered unit cell. Suppose if now this end face centered unit cell is called as A type unit cell when the lattice points are present in BC faces. Now these end face, now you will understand this better in the next slide with the help of the figures. Now these end face centered unit cells are designated as A, B or C depending on whether the BC plane or AC plane or AB plane or AB face are centered. Now let us look at the figures. So first figure, look at the first figure. Here you are going to, the lattice points are located only at the corners of the unit cell. Therefore this is called as a primitive or simple unit cell. In the second figure, other than the corners, at the center of 6 faces, lattice points are located, lattice points are present. Therefore, this unit cell is called as face centered unit cell. In the third figure, the corners are having the lattice points. Other than that, inside the unit cell at the center, you are having one more lattice point. Therefore, this unit cell is called as body centered. And here in the end face centered, now a lattice point other than the corners, the lattice points are present at the center of one pair of opposite faces. Therefore, this is called as an end centered. It may be A centered, B centered or C centered depending upon in which particular plane the lattice points are present, in which particular face the lattice points are present. Okay. Thank you.